We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred.
With Maxwell Silverhammer.
We are nothing sacred. With cruise control. We are nothing sacred.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we are back. This is the Nothing Sacred interview. I am Cruise Control.
And I'm Maxwell Silverhammer. And many of you people out there on dating sites might run into those people that ask you for money or want something out of you or whatever besides a date. And we got Nikki here, who actually was a victim of a romance scam. Nikki, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us in a little hole in the wall here, Nikki, because there's a lot to unpack here. We'll go through your story, but this is nothing unusual or normal. It's happening everywhere. So why don't we go ahead and Max, you can go ahead and lead this and get us started.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to hear your story, Nikki. What happened?
Well, I am divorced of 2 years. So I have been doing the online dating thing because you can't meet people in person anymore, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
I had gone on a few dates here and there in the last couple of years, nothing serious. Was just online one night. I think it was on Zoosk. And this really good looking guy hit me up, and I'm talking drop dead gorgeous. And we started chatting, and it was just, I don't know, we just hit it off really well right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And with my life, I was married. I was with the same person for 20 years, married for 11 of those 20 years. And going to church was a big thing for me, just because, you know, I'm a sinner, but God has a special place in my heart, and I never really could get my ex-husband to go to church. And right off the bat, this new guy, he said, well, what is your relationship like with God? And I thought, wow, this is, you know, he's good looking and he wants to have a relationship with God and has one. And so, you know, I told him about my life and about what I've been through and this, that, and the other. And he sent me Bible scriptures, and we talked. When I would go to church, he would tell me, and I would tell him about what the sermon was that day. And of course, he said he was in the military. Military also holds a very special place in my heart because I come from a military family.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had told me that his wife had died. He'd been single, widowed now for over 3 years, had twin daughters. And, you know, being a mom, it just kind of struck me. And I was, you know, and I'm really a nice person. And I guess at times I can be a bit naive, but it just struck me in the heart. And I thought, oh my gosh, here's this single guy trying to raise these kids. You know, I have kids, and I'm, you know, another thing we connected over. And, you know, he was romantic in the things that he said. He told me how beautiful he thought I was, and I was in a pretty loveless marriage. And to hear someone say those nice things, you know, it struck a chord, and it just made you feel really good about yourself. And so I think I just fell deeper into it. And he would just say the nicest things, and he would say the most romantic things. And those are things that I have just never they've never really been a part of my life, because I've never had that kind of guy in my life.
Had you talked to this dude? Not to cut you off, but had you talked to him on the phone yet, or was it still online?
It was still online, because he said he was in the military. On his profile pic, he said that he was in Florida, but it wasn't a city that was really near where I lived. And then I did question him on that, and I said, where exactly are you located? Because I had tried to do a long distance relationship and had met someone that way, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I've recently been relocated to a military base in your town. I'm like, okay, you know, and he never really gave me any reason not to believe him. But he said that, you know, it was difficult to call, you know, so on and so forth. And I just believed him. He never gave me any indication for me not to believe him. You know, I'm not that familiar with military. You know, my family that's in the military was in it 20, 30 years ago. And I know things are different now, but I wasn't up on what was allowed and what was not allowed.
Yeah.
So when he said he couldn't call, I mean, I honestly believed him. I believed that he couldn't. He said he worked Monday through Saturday, 8 to 8. I had no reason to doubt that because, you know, I have no idea what goes on in the military. So, you know, just one of them things, everything he told me, I just ended up believing him.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So when did the weirdness start? Did he start?
Before we go any further, I just want to make it clear to anybody out there who's ever gotten scammed or who's ever been lied to online. This is nothing to be ashamed of. There are so many people out there who will take advantage of people, and I guarantee you, this guy was probably specking out your profile or looking at things about you, like noticing the things about you that you did. Or you liked, knowing maybe that you were out of a long relationship for a while. And 20 years, the internet is, I mean, that before you were married, the internet was just barely getting started. So you probably weren't even involved with it that much or even knowing how all this shit worked.
Right.
So I just want to let everybody, including you, Nikki, that just don't, I know I guarantee you there's probably a little bit of shame and you know, obviously you feel like you've been duped, but it's this cocksucker's fault, not yours.
Yeah, totally.
And not
Right.
anybody else out there because I've had it too.
We've had it happen to us. Both of us have too.
I've had it.
Nobody wanted
ago.
money,
Yep.
for me at least, but they were just, you know, doing that thing where they didn't want to talk on the phone and whatever.
We'll continue your story, and I might even share a little bit of mine from 20 years ago that I had. But go ahead and Brett, Max, you were gonna ask a question.
Oh no, I was just going to say, yeah, go ahead. So continue with your story there, Nikki. I'm sorry.
And so, you know, and he had talked about how he had been in the military for and he was younger than me. So I'm 47. He was 40, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
And he had talked about that, you know, he's on the path of, you know, trying to finish up his time, you know, he's been in long enough and yada, yada, yada. And how he's just ready for, you know, he'd been stationed in Iraq, he'd been stationed in Afghanistan, and he wanted just to live a peaceful life. And I'm thinking, well, that's completely understandable. And he said he wants to raise his kids. And he also told me that his kids are living with a nanny from his hometown, somewhere in Oklahoma, a lady at his church. He even sent a video. He sent a video of these two adorable little girls with an elderly woman, you know, playing and kissing his picture, and the same picture that, you know, he had sent me. He'd sent other little like 10-second videos of him playing with his kids. And it, you know, that being a mom, it really tugged at my heart. And then he sent, you know, we had some pretty intense phone sexting going on too. And that was fun. And I never sent any nude pictures. I would never do that. And he didn't send any, you know,
dick pics or anything
like that. You know,
Yeah.
Nothing got that crazy. Then he said he was being deployed to Poland. So this occurred, you know, earlier this year. And so I did go online and look to see if we had troops in Poland. And of course, it was all over the news. We did have troops being deployed to Poland, none to Ukraine. And he said that he only anticipated that he'd be there like 12 weeks. And so there was like I forgot the time difference, like 6 hours, 12 hours, I forgot. But the times that he would message me, it fell in line with the time difference. So he wasn't texting me during the time I would be asleep. So I had told my friends, I said, I think this guy could have won an Emmy for his performance, or an Oscar, because I still had no reason not to believe him. Things started to get weird when he was in Poland and he was telling me how horrible the food was over there. He also claimed that he was a very healthy eater, very strict with his diet, but the food over there was not very good. And kind of jokingly, I said, oh my gosh, I wish I could send you some food, or whatever. And then that's when he said, well, if you could, I could use an iTunes gift card. He said, then he said, so we'd been chatting now for like a month and a half, 2 months. And of course, I guess I was at the point, I'm like, sure, I could send you an iTunes gift card. I'm like, that's no big deal. And he said he could trade it. I think he said trade it for cash. I didn't even question it. I didn't even, didn't think twice about doing it. And so it was $100 on a gift card, and sent it, and we kept chatting, and he never asked for it again until maybe another 3 to 4 weeks passed by, and he said if he could get another one. Well, at that point, I'm a single mom, so I've got 2 kids. Some stuff I had car trouble, so I had spent a lot of money to get my car repaired. And I had told him, I said, I can't send money right now. I can't send you anything. I'm not going to send you another gift card because I've had to get ABC fixed with my car. I'm doing back to school shopping with my kids. And he said, hey, no problem. That's okay. And so, but at this point, I started to think, well, why would he ask me for money when he knows I'm a single mom? So at that point, I just had this gut feeling. So I just started going online and doing some research. And then after I found out about all these military scams, and then they said, military people can call you when they want to, they can, as long as they're not working, they can video chat, and they will never ask you for money. And then, so that just made me want to vomit. I mean, I just wanted to throw up. I was just so pissed off.
But let's look at what you did. You got wind of it though. And
right. You got off before it got bad.
Because there are people that like, so let's just be honest. Basically you were out $100 at this point.
Right.
And was that the last amount of money that you gave the guy?
That was it.
Oh, good.
See, this is something you should be proud of. Is your gut told you something, because there are people that lose thousands of dollars.
Yes. A lot of these videos I was watching about people getting catfished, I mean, they were getting hammered. And even when they found out, they were still sending the person money. It was crazy.
Well, here's the thing with me. I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
So he was never going to get it, even if I just didn't have it.
Right.
But really, and I've read those stories too, like after I started doing research, women losing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And it just made me sick to my stomach. And so I thought, how am I going to approach this? And so, I had asked him, I did not send any naked pictures, but, some a little bit more risque.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And so I had asked him, I was like, can you please delete those pictures, because I would not want anything to get out. Then he got a little defensive about that. And I'm like, listen, this is my life on the line. I have kids. I would not want my kids to see this, so on and so forth. And that's when he started, I think at that point, when he started to get suspicious also, because then his chatting became a lot less. And then he would say, well, I'm not really happy with what you want me to do, blah, blah, blah. And then, so I kind of let it go because then at this point I knew he was scamming me, but I kind of just wanted to see how far he would take it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I sent him a message, and I'm like, listen, I just feel like, I said, in case you don't know, I said, there are so many scammers out there. I said, I just want to be certain that no one else gets a hold of my pictures. I said, not necessarily you. I said, and I kept telling him that I trusted him, but I wouldn't want someone to get a hold of his phone or his tablet and see my photos or steal my identity.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of like placing the blame on other people. And then I kept telling him, I was like, you would not believe all the crazy people out there that steal other people's identities. And then then his text really got less and less.
Mm-hmm.
And then then at one point I'm like, I've had enough of this. And I had sent one final message, and I said, I know you're scamming me. I said, I'm cutting all ties. I said, I'm going to report you to whoever I can turn you into. And then that was, I never never got another message.
No,
You got lucky. You really did. I know it sounds crazy, but you did get lucky, because I mean, there's some way worse situations.
yeah, I know
Right.
that doesn't necessarily help how you feel, because obviously you probably feel, there's like the shame involved, and then just like the guilt, and like wondering. Yeah.
I think, God, I'm smarter than that. And to fall for somebody over a picture, it's not, I never even got to meet the person,
That's what he said too, though.
I fell in love with a picture.
Well, but he said some things that obviously, held near and dear to you, as far as going to church and the Bible scriptures and the military. So he knew exactly how to get at you.
And let's also get some perspective here, in that you were in a relationship, for 20 years with somebody. Just getting out of that, there's a void there that you're wanting to fill with somebody who actually might mean something more to you, actually be something more. And these people know this. They know this. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for people who are either lonely or looking for something, because they're trying to feel something that you think about it. Like when you're with someone, even if it's not a fulfilling relationship, when you're committed to someone for that long, and then you're out of it, and then you're like, where is that coming from? Where's that relationship coming from? These people know that. And they will look at people's profiles, and they'll hunt for the people that they think are going to be someone who's easy for them to get involved with, someone who might be emotionally vulnerable at that time.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of things there that these people, like I almost guarantee this guy these people scan Facebook pages, because I have a family member who was early in the year. He's, yeah, I met this girl, and she's hot. She's so hot, and she's in the military serving over in Iraq. And it's the same things. And this is not just a guy. It
happens to men too. Yeah.
It happens to because people they want more. They want more in their lives, and they might not be too savvy about the online stuff. So you just hadn't heard from him since, and then you decided to just look into it, and it's like I said, it's everywhere, and it's part of the problem with dating today too, is that it's not just online anymore.
Sometimes I've heard too, they jack like someone's picture, like a model, an online model. Did you ever find out where he got his picture from?
No, and I did, after doing some more research, there were some websites you could go to. You had to pay for them, but to do image searches. And so, I think one site was like $6, and it was totally worth it. And then I found this same profile picture, like on 3 or 4 different dating websites, including a gay website, a gay dating app. And so this guy's picture had been used on several, and different names, different ages. And then I thought, God, I felt so bad for that guy. I'm thinking he's out there trying to live his life, and, people are using his image, and
Right.
I felt just as bad for him than I did for myself.
Yeah, that's actually true, because that person is not obviously that person. So they are actually using that guy's picture in
for all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, think about that. What if someone actually met that guy in person and didn't realize that they, that's a scammer, and then they went up to him and started shit with him because they see
it's possible too.
Because they don't make the connection that the guy who actually his picture is his is not actually the person at all.
Right.
I had actually I think there had been stories on the internet about that actually happening. Like some of these women had become so completely obsessed with the person with the picture, and then they tracked them down in some way and actually went to their house and to try to, and said, and their wives would answer the door and they'd be like, who are you? And I'm here to see my boyfriend. And can you imagine how that conversation went down?
Yeah. Oh. And meanwhile, the guy is a faithful dude to his wife,
Right.
for real. But this person, the scammer's out there using his photo, so everybody thinks,
God, what a mess!
Yeah,
what a mess that would. Because then the guy has to. This is victims on all sides, because that could completely destroy a relationship. Because what if the wife doesn't believe the husband, or it causes issues because she goes and looks and sees his picture on a gay website and goes, what the
Yeah.
right?
Oh. But of course under the different names, and that's the thing that should get come off the hook. But still, it's a complete mess. I mean, that could cause what if a girlfriend's boyfriend saw quote unquote other boyfriend, maybe she's seeing somebody else, but he sees the online guy and goes, I'm going to go to his house and kick this guy's ass. And it's really, what I'm saying? Like, there's so much involved, because this doesn't just happen. Like I said, this isn't all across the board. This is a gender. This does not just happen to women. It's happened to men. It's happened to, I've had it. Well, I've been lied to before, where someone told me they were a different person.
That's what happened to me. They didn't ask me for money, and everybody was telling me, oh, you better watch that person, they're probably going to ask you for money. They never did, and I almost wish they would have, because it would have ended it much quicker.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing. And it wasn't like what I think was happening with Nikki is that he was trying to, what they do is, first of all, they love bomb. It's almost like a narcissistic thing, where they'll tell you everything you want to hear. They'll look at your profile, see that you go to church. Maybe they can see that. Maybe it says something prominent. You have pictures or whatever of your kids or other things, that you are into. They'll love bomb you and make you think they're the most soulmate, they're the perfect person. They're going to tell you everything you want to hear. And then they'll ask for something small. And then they'll ask again. Then they'll ask again later on next month. Can you get me another one? Can you do 200 this time? Because blah, blah, blah. I don't know, whatever reason they're using. And they'll keep, and because it's like when you buy something online, a lot of times they'll have the product will be, buy it for $4.99. Then you buy it for $4.99 and you've broken that seal. So now when you get something, I can buy something for $10. It's the same kind of thing. They kind of ease you into it.
Yeah.
And that's freaking disgusting, man, is what it is. It's preying upon emotions, especially like we were talking about the dating scene right now, especially for people. I think everybody actually is just an absolute mess.
It just sucks. I've gotten off all the dating sites. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
But so have you? Do you still do online dating, Nikki, or are you done?
Some, like I'm talking to a guy right now, but he actually does live like within a 10-mile radius of me. And we've talked, and we just due to conflicting schedules, we haven't had a chance to meet yet. But in the next week or two, we plan on meeting, and we'll see. I don't know. It really sucks. The online thing just sucks. I had been talking to another guy, and he wasn't military scam, but he was like, I said, well, here's my phone number. You can chat, you can text message me instead of messaging through this app. And then he never would do that. So I'm like, well, something's wrong there. And when I first started doing the online thing, at the worst, people that I met, and then I met them in person, they either lied about their height or their weight. And I'm like, well, this is pretty harmless. And then it took a real big turn.
Or the hygiene too. That's another one. You show up and the guy's not clean, he hasn't bathed or something, or doesn't brush his teeth, but I would say you hit the nail on the head, Nikki. The best thing is if the person will not talk to you on the phone.
Yes. Yep. If they will not talk to you, then that is a red flag. If they're really interested in you, I guarantee you they'll want to hear your voice. If they don't, then there's something wrong with that. Like, right. You're so amazing. we talk on the phone. Oh, I can't talk on the phone with you. Well, what do you mean? You can text me about all this stuff and intimate stuff, but you can't actually have a conversation. That is definitely a red flag. So you anybody out there listening, if you're getting this, oh, you're so amazing and you're beautiful and blah, and then they won't talk to you. Yeah, like that's not going to happen.
Yep.
Believe me.
End it right there.
No one's gonna want to listen to want to not know if a beautiful woman's voice is hello, how are you doing today?
Well,
and then if they can't meet in person within a reasonable amount of time, then I'm out too. I'm not, and then I've set my distance to be like within 20 miles. If you don't live within 20 miles of me, forget it. I'm not going down that path.
Yep.
Because that way you can also kind of clear some stuff up too. Like if they live within 20 miles, you know the area. So you go, oh yeah, on Baker Street, next to the, they'll go,
right.
If they don't know that, then they don't know where you are. They don't know the area. Like if they don't know the highways and the areas around that 20-mile area. And it's just a better option anyways, because the ultimate goal is to get somebody in front of you.
Yeah.
And it used to be in a different era that was how you met people. You went, you saw them, you asked them out or whatever, or you met them at work or something, and then you went out with them. But you always knew them first before you actually went out with them. And now it's just no one wants to do that anymore. It's you have to go through all this like online, almost like a checklist, like an application process before you even meet the person.
And a lot of that chatting is very dry too. It's like, hi, how are you? I am good. That is good. Like just 3-word answers. I'm like, how do you drive a conversation forward with that? So
right. And you can never tell. I'm a kind of a smart ass, kind of a sarcastic person. And you you say things in a text or a chat and like, well, I'm just joking. And, and some people, you can't get sarcasm in a text message. So
no, that's the thing. It's like for them to really get to know your personality, they're going to have to speak to you.
Exactly.
So, and that's kind of just how it is. And hey, the best thing too is remember, you don't need someone in your life. You know what I mean? They're just an addition. That's the
right. And I have shared custody with my kids, and I only get 2 weekends off a month. And I'm at the point I just want to go out, and those 2 weekends I have off, just go out and have a little bit of fun, preferably with another adult man. And that's really all I was ever really wanting. And even now I'm thinking, does nobody just want to go out and have a drink or grab dinner? I mean, it's crazy.
Yep. And there's all those sites like Tinder and those crazy things like that, where it's all about, swiping left and right. I don't even know I haven't even bothered with that shit. I couldn't even imagine getting on that stuff.
They're all swipe right or swipe left, and it's insane.
Yeah, it turns it into, like I said, it turns it into a shopping spree. It's like you're on Amazon looking for a bag or a shirt.
Yeah, people become property. That's true.
Yeah, and
items.
But then there's also society's pressure, which is a lot of it too. Like if you're not with somebody, then there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
So that fuels these people too, because it's like, oh, I've got this new guy in my life or new girl, and they're telling me I'm awesome, and that may, and I can look around and go, well, you're not, I'm at least with somebody, it's got something going on in that way, because everywhere you turn, it's like single. Oh, Valentine's Day. Oh, what's wrong with you?
Well, I'm the only one at my office that's single, and I don't work in a large office, but it really kind of just does suck, because at the end of the day, they're all going home to somebody.
Right.
I have my cat and my dog.
Yeah. Well, but then again too,
kids.
It's you have, like you said, you have your kids, you have a lot of other stuff going on too. So I mean, somebody's going to have to fit into the equation.
Right.
Yeah.
So
sometimes that takes a lot of patience, and a lot of times what happens is you get impatient, and then you're with somebody, and then you start caring about them, even though it's a terrible relationship, and then you're fucked, because then you're like, at least I'm with somebody. Oh shit, this person's terrible, and now I can't get out of it.
Right.
At least easily.
I kind of think I have gotten wiser a little bit with my old age, and after being in a 20-year relationship, to not ever do that again.
Yes.
Not just to be with somebody to be with somebody.
Yeah.
I've gotten pretty comfortable with being by myself. I was by myself a lot when I was married, so it was not that you know, it's not that difficult for me to be by myself. I just want to go out and have some fun, you know.
Yep.
That's
That's it.
So
But
feel
and you
your
know,
oats, and you know, especially after being in a loveless relationship, because like I said, a loveless relationship is just about as bad as a not, or actually, it's a lot worse than not having a relationship.
right.
Yeah. So.
Well,
But
and for you too, it was, you know, like with this thing with the gift card, you know, you didn't do it, I don't think, to be like, oh, you know, I need this guy in my life, and if I don't give him the $100, you just did it to be a cool person. Like, hey, I can do this. I can help you out, right?
You know, I grew up in the South, and we would give anybody the shirt off our back if they needed it. And it was just the way I was brought up. If someone needed something, you just went out of your way to help them. And he just claimed that he needed it because he was not feeling good and wanted to get better food. And you know, it's just the way I was brought up to help somebody when they can't help themselves.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the sick part of these assholes, is that they will capitalize and take advantage of that generosity. Yeah. They don't look for assholes. They look for good people with hearts who actually care about people and actually want the best for people, because those are people that are easier to exploit. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any advice for other people online with the online dating and the scammer? You know, is there something they should watch out for? Or
my advice is to be comfortable with doing things yourself, and then once you're comfortable with that, then, you know, set your standards high and don't falter. You know, stick to your guns.
Nice.
And that gut feeling, and you know, I think there is something to women's intuition, and I'm sure men have their version of it as well.
Oh yeah.
But when they tell you, when you get that gut feeling, you better listen to it. I mean, it is true.
Yeah. Yep. And just, you got to follow. Some people don't want to. That's the problem. You know, they're going, no, I want to believe the lie, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I might, once again, advice for everyone: if they aren't going to talk to you after a reasonable amount of time, when you've been texting them every day, yeah, that's red flag number one, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
And that's what happened with, well, mine, the one who did that with me, her whole thing was, well, I met somebody on Facebook and he started stalking me, and he said he was from England when really lived like in my neighborhood, and it was a whole crazy deal. That's why she didn't want to talk on the phone.
You know, here's another thing I don't understand. To steal in someone's photos, I don't understand why Facebook and Instagram haven't made it so easy for their people's stuff to be stolen.
That's true. That's true. They can easily use it.
Even on Facebook, you can right click on anybody's picture and save it and download it, and now you have it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
I'm thinking, you know, Facebook and Instagram and whatever could make things a whole lot more difficult for these people if they actually would.
That's a whole nother thing, because you know, on one breath they claim, oh, they're looking out for your privacy and your well-being and our guidelines, but you know, just last year my page was hacked. God, I think, well, I can't even count. It was so many times. And, you know, I'd go in there and they say, you've been locked due to security reasons, and you got to log back in and create a new password. And I mean, this went on for like 3 months. It was sick. So, I mean, they don't really seem like they care too much about people's well-being and people's privacy, you know?
I think TikTok is the new place to scam.
Yes.
I don't make TikTok videos. I'm 47 and I'm not doing that. My kids said they'd be mortified if they saw me on TikTok anyway. But I do like to go on there and watch other people's videos. It's very entertaining to me. And so you follow these people so you can see their content. Mm-hmm. Several people have contacted me to follow me, and I'm like, well, I don't understand that. I don't have videos. I don't have anything there. And I don't even have my real name on there either. Mm-hmm. And so they'll start messaging me and they'll say, do you use any other app for messaging? And of course, after the catfish scam, he only wanted to use Google Chats. Mm-hmm. And so that's also another big red flag that I have found out. If they only want to do like Hangouts or WhatsApp or Google Chats, then you know it's a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want to just stick to one specific platform or
Well, they
Right.
won't give you a phone number to text because that'll be traced it back to somebody. So,
Well, and the guy that I had been talking to, he did give me a phone number,
mhm.
and but then he said he preferred chatting with Google Chats. And so when I started to get suspicious, I tried to do an online search for his phone number, and I couldn't find it. And I was like, well, that's crazy. And
Yeah.
then turned out it was a burner phone, of course.
Oh yeah, Magic Jack or some kind of thing.
Yeah. So the TikTok people, I would say no. I said there's too many scammers out there. I don't use any other site, and then they would just disappear. Like I wouldn't hear. Like they would delete their.
Oh yeah.
Their pages would be deleted. So evidently, TikTok is the new place for scamming, and so people need to be careful out there also.
Well, I don't use TikTok. Like you said, I'm in my 40s. I don't, no reason to go on that, So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
that.
Thank you very much for coming on and sharing your story. And
Absolutely.
I think it's like I said, I think you really did dodge a bullet in terms of getting away. $100 is $100. I'm not going to lie. That's not like it's nothing, but my God, I've seen, if you look at stories, we're talking tens of thousands. We're talking just crazy shit that these people are getting away with, taking from people.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that it is something that, it obviously hits hard and it's emotionally draining and shaking. Like I said, it brings up a lot of different emotions, like self, like, God, why did I do that? Shame, whatever you want to call it. And also other things. So it's a big deal in that way, but also it's also great that you can tell people because the signs are there. So if you see these things and you got that gut feeling, then
roll with it.
Roll with it.
I've kept the chat that he and I had going just so when I think that I'll look at it and be like, don't ever be so stupid and naive again. It's a reminder. It's like having a tattoo, you kind of see it and think of what you went through. So I kept the Google Chats, and when I look back and I think I'm not gonna do this again. I know better. I'm a stronger person than that, and so I kind of keep it as a reminder of what not to do next time.
Good. Keep that around. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
If it keeps you out of the scam zone.
Well, stay on for a second, Nikki. We'll be back with you. We'll talk to you after. We're going to close up here,
end this real quick.
End this here. So this has been the Nothing Sacred interview with Nikki. I am Cruise Control.
And I'm Maxwell Silverhammer.
And that's the story there.
Bitches. See ya.
We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred.
With Maxwell Silverhammer.
We are nothing sacred. With cruise control. We are nothing sacred.